I'll tell you a story, if I may.
If Beale Street Could Talk is based off of a book by James Baldwin, I have not read that book. At the beginning of this movie, there is some text on the screen from James Baldwin. I don't know if it's from his book or not, but the text basically illustrates that a Beale Street is a black neighborhood / community that pretty much every black person grows up in. And almost every black person who lives on a Beale Street has to march to the beat of their own drum because everything that surrounds them is shit. Barry Jenkins. Barry Jenkins is a fantastic director. I did see his movie called Moonlight, which won an Oscar. When I first saw that movie, I fell asleep because it was boring. But it took me multiple viewings to really follow the story and understand how rich in depth it was. It's a very emotional movie that is very slow. So I would say if you do watch it, you have to be in the mood for it because it is so slow, but it is good. Barry Jenkins is a great director, and with this movie, there's no exception. The shots that he gets in this movie are very artistic shots. They're lavish. They have a beautiful essence to them. I don't know much about directing, but the directing in this is flawless. I love the shots that Barry Jenkins captures in here. They're great shots. The acting in this movie is exceptional. We have Stephan James in here who plays Alonzo, nicknamed Fonny, and this man knows how to act with facial expression. Because at the very beginning of this movie, we get some information that baffles us, just like his character, and the expression on his face is priceless. And on top of that, the movie has to pause and show us his facial expression, and it's priceless. It's fantastic. And James in this movie, he's great. He's a great actor. I believe every scene that he was in. There's also some scenes in here where James and Kiki Layne, who plays his girlfriend in this movie, are having an intimate moment. And that intimate moment is mwah! It is beautiful. It shows their love for each other. There are multiple scenes throughout here where they express their love to each other, and there's this music playing in the background with the directing here by Barry Jenkins. It's great. So the actors pull off powerful performances that get me sucked into the relationship, and their lovemaking scene, I would say, is one of the best lovemaking scenes I've seen in a romantic movie since forever. We have Kiki Layne in this movie who plays Tish, and Tish is a woman who is going to give birth to Fonny's baby. And that is just told at the very beginning of the movie, so I don't think that's a spoiler. And we get a point of view from her character that is in depth because she has narration in this movie. I don't like narration. I like things to be told to me visually instead of verbally in a movie, and so the narration really irritated me. And for the people who watch my channel, you know I don't like narration. I hate narration in movies unless it is used effectively. And in this movie, it's used effectively, but it kind of goes on for too long. It's not like Menace to Society type narration where it's in every scene, but like especially at the beginning. And this is not a spoiler because it's at the beginning. There's a moment at the beginning of the movie where Tish tells Alonzo that she's pregnant while he's incarcerated, and the movie pauses frame and looks at both of them, and then she illustrates how old they both are and who he is as a person. And when I saw that moment, it baffled me. It took me out of the movie because they had to pause the screen and then they had to explain how old they were and their intimate selves, their inner selves. They had to explain that through narration. And I don't like that. I really want a movie to be executed through narrative, through character development, through the movie showing me things about them that make me understand them. Don't tell me these things. So it really frustrated me throughout, but it was information that I felt like I did need because, it gave me more intimate emotional depth with these characters so I could better understand them, which was great. But at the same time, I just wish they could have flushed it out through character interaction more and dialogue, not just spoon feeding us information, but just without narration. Narration just really bothers me in movies when it's not used effectively. And in this movie, it's like 50-50. It's like a toss up. It's used effectively, but then in some moments it feels like unnecessary. And in some moments it's like, well, this makes sense because it's helping me understand everything. If Beale Street Could Talk, written by James Baldwin and directed for the screen by Barry Jenkins, starring Stephan James, Regina King, and Kiki Layne. I would say that this movie it's good. It's a good movie. I enjoyed the romantic quality in here, but also it's not just a romantic movie. This movie surprised me. There is a lot more going on in here. There are more elements added into here that make up for some really good scenes that just build these characters and give them this rich amount of depth that make me feel emotionally connected to them, and it gets me engaged in the story, which is great. But the narration does bother me, so it kind of takes me out in certain moments. So the narration is a 50-50 toss-up, which I like it and I hate it at the same time, but it's fine. And the directing by Barry Jenkins in here is phenomenal. He is a fantastic director. He captures the shots in here perfectly that build the emotion inside of me. He captures the characters' facial expressions on point, where it just makes me understand these characters a lot more. And all of these combinations, the acting, the directing, the music, the different character moments in here, all fused together make for a really good experience. I enjoyed this movie, and if I had to give it a grade, I'd give it an A-. I'd give it an A- because all of those great factors and those negative factors that I just said. And that's all I have to say. So as always, thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time.